Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing all right. Doing well, actually. Doing better than all right. Um, I forgot to post this in all the Facebook groups, so maybe people will remember that we're doing Thursday. If not, we might have a lot of people watching on the replay. Anyway, I'm Katrina. This is Sow and Tare. We do live chat every Monday night, 6 p.m. Pacific time, except for the first Monday of the month, which was this Monday. We do it on Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, which is today. Welcome to Thursday. Like I said, hopefully everybody's doing good. We stay out of politics and religion here. We just stick with the homesteading, and everybody's welcome and do all that. So let's go up to the top here, see who's here. We might have a scant crowd today just because I forgot to post things, and it's on a different day. All right. Steve's here. Hello, Steve. Welcome. Steve is in blue with a little wrench, S.O. Swanson, and he has a lot of quail. He's a moderator, and he's got a lot of quail. Yeah. Verna is also moderator, Ray's Place with the little wrench, also in blue. And Verna is has a YouTube channel as well. She goes live on Saturday mornings and Wednesday evenings. And she does all stuff of apartment homesteading oriented. So check out that. Welcome, guys. I hope you guys are both doing good. Verna's, oh, I forgot to read Steve's comment. Greetings, y'all. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. And Verna says, hey, Katrina, I see Cuz beat me. So I am second post. Hey, you're not second. You guys can both be first. Oh boy. So good to see you guys on here. Oh, we're being distracted. That's fine. That's fine. All right. PJ's here. Welcome, PJ. And that reminds me, I need to look on the post, the poll that I have. And it looks like Saturday, October 18, 12:30 p.m. is what we're doing. So let me put that in my phone. So I should tell you guys what we're doing. If you want to do Cook With Me Live, put that. There's a link in the description. I'll pull up the link here to put in the chat. Maybe Steve or Verna already beat me to it, but I have it right here. And what we do is we do a Cook With Me Live every month for the members. And it's a lot of fun. Me and my kitchen, you and yours, and we do something different every time. And this time we're going to be doing fried chicken, except for I'm going to do rabbit. We're going to do mozzarella sticks just because we're going to be frying things. And we were going to do spaghetti squash casserole, but Erica hasn't sent me the recipe yet. So yes, 12:30 Pacific time. And I was going to ask, because I know PJ and Erica are probably the two people that voted. Maybe not. I was going to ask if we could push it to 1. So if 1 works, that would be good. If not, that's fine. The firehouse is having an event, and I found out after I did the poll, or after I put the poll out. And I could just go to the earlier portion of that. So yes, 12:30 p.m. Pacific time, unless people agree to do 1. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. I hope people can join us. The other good thing about the membership is you can watch all of the previous ones. So like if you want to, if you want to join, like, hey, whatever you're making right now sounds delicious. I'm gonna join. You maybe you join and you stick with it, or maybe you join and you're like, I just want to do 1, and then don't do the other months. Then you can watch all of the things from before. Just realize it's a long time. We're actually cooking during it. It's not going to be like a short video that says this is how to do things. And we welcome people who don't know how to cook. This is a good group to ask these questions to experience things, to cook with someone. And if something goes wrong, we can figure out how to fix it. I had one where I was either doubling or tripling a recipe, and I totally screwed up. I had to go back and be like, now how much of this do I need to add to? No, that's what it was. I thought I doubled it, but I tripled like one of the ingredients. And so then I had to figure out like what, I don't remember what I did. Anyway, I figured it out. And so there we go. PJ, 12:30 Pacific time on the 18th works for me. If people agree, we can push it to 1 as a start time. So that's the same time we did last time on the Saturday. This is Saturday. Yeah. 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 Steve says we know PJ knows how to cook at least great cookie. she's a chef. She's good. She's good. What Steve is referring to is at QuailCon, PJ made everybody cookies with quail eggs, and they were awesome. They were awesome. 1 p.m. will be 4 Eastern time. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Why is Google popping up? I don't need to try Gemini. No, thank you. Anyway, so we'll plan for 12:30 until more people get in here, or something like that. But yeah, 12:30 on the 18th, which is a Saturday. So that's good. Good. Yeah, so how are you guys doing? What do you guys want to talk about? Erica's here. I have a question for you, Erica, before we move on. Erica, I'm guessing you voted on the poll for 12:30 on the 18th, Saturday. If you did, and I'm guessing PJ did too, because there's two votes. Can we do 1 o'clock instead of 12:30? That's the question I put to both of you, and if both of you are good with it, everybody else will just have to deal with it. And welcome, by the way. Yeah. So that's Saturday the 18th. There you go. Oh my gosh, PJ hasn't been shopping for anything since you've been back. You've been back a while. You've been processing things up there. Oh, you didn't. So 2 people voted. I don't know which 2 people. Second question. Thank you, Steve. That was my first question, but I asked the second question first. Erica, if we're making the spaghetti squash casserole, I need the recipe. So you can either message me on Facebook or email. You didn't vote either. Okay, if 2 people voted and it's neither one of you, then let's just stick with 12:30. Let's just stick with 12:30. I thought you guys were the one that voted. Those 2 people better show up. I don't know who voted. All right, so let's stick with 12:30 Pacific time, the 18th. It's a Saturday, and hopefully we have everybody there. Yeah, so I'm gonna put my email up here, Erica. I know you can message me on Facebook or email me, and it is just sowandtare@gmail. If I can spell it right. There we go. Gmail. All right. And Tommy's here. Howdy, Earthlings, on a bike ride listening. Awesome. Welcome. My catalpa tree is yellowing. I don't think I'm going to be selling leaves unless someone specifically wants my catalpa leaves. If you want me to pack you up a box and send them to you, you can be my dealer. But I'm not dealing with that, at least this winter. All right, everybody's saying hi, Tommy. Hands on the handlebars, Tommy. There you go. Homemade cheese sauce, spaghetti, squash, spinach. Okay. I can look up how to do homemade cheese sauce, or you can tell me how. So let me typey that down. Homemade cheese sauce, spaghetti, squash, spinach. All right. And PJ says, "Ooh, yummy, Erica." Awesome. Awesome. If there's more we need to know, or what is the ingredients in the cheese sauce, then you can email it to me or message me on Facebook. All right. Awesome, awesome. So we're starting to see people come in. I know this is an unusual time, but yeah, I wanted to make sure we got that scheduling going. If and like I said, we're just gonna go 12:30 then if other people are voting, and I don't know who the other people were. I wish you could see who they are on there. Anyway, Alfredo is a homemade cheese sauce. It is not the only one though. That is true. That is true. We did Alfredo sauce not that long. It's been like a few months ago, right? Did we do that a few months ago? Yeah. Anyway, it was good. It's good, good. Food Forest Permaculture. Hello, Howie. Good evening, Earthlings. Good evening. Um, all right, Erica sometimes put us in tomato. Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of thing. When we do the Cook With Me Live, we can adjust things as needed. We can do, I mean, you could do that with casseroles anyway, but we can adjust things as needed, which is good. So yeah. All right. So is everybody is fall harvest done where you are, or are you still going? I still have apples on the trees, and if you guys watched the weekend review, I discovered, well, I knew about one apple tree and I rediscovered it because I forgot about it. And another apple tree I didn't know I had, and it's the one that my neighbor has been telling me the name of. And what is Beechamel? What? Bechamel. Sorry, I'm reading Erica's one of the 5 mother sauces in French cuisine. Okay, we will do this. See, this is the thing. When we cook with each other, we learn different things, and there you go. With cheese melted. But what kind of cheese? All right. Anyway, so the apples are still on the trees. I have pears in the refrigerator that I need to get out. I am going to take out some of them. I probably should do that after this. And then I'm going to be juicing some, and then whatever is not at the juiceable stage, I will be canning. And I'm hoping to do that this weekend. I don't know if that's going to be what happens or not, but I have some other canning to do this weekend, so I'll be doing that. All right. Oh, we're getting stuff in. Y'all see the rabbit roundup. You know, Steve? Okay, I'll tell you guys a story. I didn't want to tell the whole story. Not the whole story, but I didn't want to tell you guys like more information about this person that I think took it out in the video. But I'll tell you guys what I think it must be, because it wasn't the neighbor kids. It wasn't anybody I know. It wasn't like any of that. And it was relatched. So like there's it didn't break out and then latch itself out. There was a couple days before that, there was a lady like yelling for help, and I saw 2 sheriff cars go by, and then they went by again, and they didn't stop at like the nearby road. And so I called in and I said, hey, if you're looking for someone yelling for help, they're still yelling. And so like, oh, we're going to reopen it. Okay. And then I heard from the neighbor that like they thought that she was on drugs or something. She was looking for her cat, but she didn't live anywhere near here. And yeah, they thought that she was not completely there. And I'm wondering if she wandered through and picked out a bunny and it got out, and then she latched it because she didn't want to get in trouble, probably. I don't know. But that was the weird thing. But the good thing about this is that I've been feeding the rabbits apples in the hot time. So I baited it with, well, I had pellets in there too, but when you have a world full of food, it's kind of hard to attract with food. But with the apples, they all like apples, and so I put that in the back of the trap, and he went in there and was caught, which is really, really good. But he did spend a night outside, and You guys might have heard me calling for Ringo's help. Ringo, can you help? He usually doesn't go with me down that far into the bottom part of the pasture, unless we're like going for a walk. Um, and he was definitely paying attention and like moving around, like trying to keep it near, which is really really interesting because he did the same thing the time when the fox was by. I think that must have opened the latch for the rabbits, but there was risotto and four of her babies, I think, got out of the hutch. It's raining again, and risotto is so funny. I call her over. It pays to be cuddly with your animals, right? I call her over, and she's like, "Ah, look good. I'm out. I'm hopping around. I'm free. It's so happy. Hi, how are you?" And I kind of let her do that for a little bit, just right around me, and then I'm like, okay, time to go bed. But when I was doing that, Ringo had cornered two rabbits, and he was just cornering. He was just watching them because they're like, basically almost as big as, well, not as almost as big as him at that point, but um, big enough that he didn't feel like he was going to take it down. Um, and they have seen him probably every day of their life once they could see. So he wasn't like shock scary, but he was still like, "Oh, I don't want to go near you." So I think he had developed a thing like, "Oh, I'm supposed to stay here so that she can get them." And he really did. The neighbor kid came over with a net, which we tried. I almost caught him so many times by hand and by the net, and um, we ended up saying, "Okay, good night." And I put a trap out. And then the next day I moved it down there and got it. So anyway, but yeah, Ringo was very helpful in keeping it from going other places. Can hear the rain. So yeah, here we go. There's your extra story. You're back behind the scenes. Verna says, I haven't harvested my sweet taters yet. Time to do that before it rains a lot because you don't want to be digging in the mud. Yeah. Ooh, Howie's picking grapes and apples. Yeah. My Gravenstein, it I think the apples are finally getting ripe, but most of them dropped unripe. And so I just ate part of one that had fallen, and it was actually pretty sweet. It was not pretty sweet. Pretty sweet for a Gravenstein. Which is more like a Granny Smith-ish. It's like not quite as tart as that. But yeah, so I'll be able to pick some of those, and probably give some to my neighbor because she was wanting some this year and they just weren't ripening. Um, but yeah, that'll be good. And PJ says, and you can tell me how to say it nicely. Um, Bechamel is a white sauce. Good, good. PJ's our local chef. Howie says, just put up the polytunnel. Awesome. I really want a high tunnel, and it's not, it didn't happen this summer when I thought it was going to. Maybe next summer. Yeah. Verna says, my Malabar spinach is putting on flowers, and they say the flowers and berries are edible. Verna, I would research that because when I had them and I was researching that, some places said yes, and some places said they had some interactions. So yeah. All right. I'm just cautioning you because um, I don't remember what the interactions were. PJ says your favorite cheese. You can put your favorite trees, huh? Isn't Parmesan and mozzarella the only cheeses? Do you not know Gouda, Steve? Gouda is good. And oh, I just had some cheese. I don't remember the name of it, but it had habanero and Szechuan pepper and ginger. The ginger was like very little, and a couple other spices in it. It was really good. Erica says the dogs were just going crazy. This time it was a snake instead of a gator. Okay. Okay. Cheddar. Cheddar is what you would add? Okay. Oh, Erica says last week it was a gator. Oh my gosh. You know, I am glad. I am glad that we don't have alligators here. I mean, I would the order of dangerous animals would be people, rattlesnakes. I don't know which it would be more, bear or mountain lion. And then there's like the potential for a wolf to come by. Oh, tick is probably above rattlesnake because that has potential for disease, right? But people are the most dangerous. All right. Um, Howie says sunchokes next month and lots of greens over winter. Sunchokes are good. I grew them at my old place, and I made the mistake though of lacto fermenting them, and I don't like salt. Like I'm not a salty person. Um, and they were disgusting. I'm sure someone who likes salty things would have loved them, but it was way too salty. And yeah, it's kind of like the one time that I went to a potluck and someone had made salted potatoes, like the little new potatoes that are cooked and they're like almost salt encrusted. I was like, oh, baked potatoes. And then I bit it. I'm like, that's a lot of salt. Yeah. Lots of greens over the winter. Awesome. 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 Tommy says, hello, everyone. Sorry I missed any hellos. I'm doing a nighttime bike ride with my daughters. Tomorrow is my middle daughter's birthday. Happy birthday. And I was off today, so we have celebrated. Awesome. 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 Happy birthday to her. Yeah. That was cool. I don't know what was cool, but everything's cool. Oh, Erica says your favorite cheese. So really, whatever cheese. Okay. Oh, did her cat have long ears like a bunny? I have no idea, and I don't know that there ever was a cat. Um, One of the reasons why the person I talked to thought that this person might be on drugs is that she like disappeared into the blackberries, and blackberries are not easy to disappear in. So she probably wasn't feeling the cuts. Because we have the Himalayan blackberries here, the non-native ones. Um, and the sheriff's never found her. That he had talked with her looking for her cat. I'm like, okay. So yeah. I have a livestock guardian cat. Yes. Yes, good Ringo, BJ says. Yes. He does pretty okay. I mean, he's the rabbit. It's so funny because when the rabbits were out in the pasture, he would be out there watching them. And it was, you know, kitty TV, whereas kitty TV at my old place was the quail. But he had kitty TV here, and he would just watch them and just spend much of the day out there, next to them. So kind of like a livestock guardian kitty. Oh yeah. Ooh, PJ says heavy frost last night. Car was iced over. It was 32 degrees when I woke up. 55 or 54 degrees in the house because I forgot to close the kitchen window. That's fine. Sweatshirts work. Yeah. Frost? What's that? Steve says. Yeah. Do you not get any frost at all? He's in Mississippi. Verna has a frost warning. We're actually going to stay warmer overnight because it's going to rain through much of the night, I think. We've kind of had these showers hitting and missing. We have right now the clouds are going this way. Okay. The clouds are coming from the north, going south, and coming up back north on land. So it's something that's spinning off the coast, and it's just going around. So, yeah. Berna says it's the mucilage that may turn others off. Yeah, I was talking about something with the berries. It's something in the berries, and I don't know if it's something in the seeds or in the berry that I was talking about. Yeah. Oh, 35 on PJ's way home from work. Goodness. 51 at Verna's. Steve says, and here I get cold when it's down to 65. Yes, Steve. She has alligators in Arkansas. I was surprised about that too. Yeah. Southern Arkansas. You put it in the freezer? Well, you don't request alligator soup because I'm not getting that. I have no idea where I would even get that here. What do you make with alligator? That's a better question. Like, do you barbecue it or do you stew it or I don't know. I've had snapping turtle that was finished on corn, I think. And they say that turtle has 7 different kinds of meat. All I know is the kind I had was disgusting. So I don't Steve probably knows more about that because you're right in the snapping turtle region. I don't know if you've had that or not, but you probably know people without fingers. Because there are people that go noodling for catfish and find that there is a snapping turtle underneath the bank. Yeah. Oh, Steve says I'm south of you, not in Arkansas. Now I'm scared. Oh boy. Good eating, Rita says. All right. My dad's on here. Welcome, welcome. We've been in the 20s here already. Yeah. Well, you're supposed to get lots of rain, I think. Or are you getting rain or snow there? You might be getting snow. The Cascades are going to get snow this weekend. Yeah. Erica says we live near a river and have 2 ponds. Lots of habitat for gators. Oh my goodness. Everybody's saying hi to my dad. Yeah, Verna, I didn't turn on the heater. Verna says I refuse to turn on my heat yet. I don't really need to right now. It's something that eventually I will, but no. But I do have floor insulation and insulated the double pane windows this winter, and hopefully soon I'll put up my I probably should do it soon because the winter is coming, guys. Put up my insulated curtains. I haven't put up curtains yet. Oh, PJ says New York is in a severe drought. All right. Howie's off to dinner. Good evening, good dinnering, Howie. Thanks for coming. PJ says only rained 3 times since I got back. Is it? I don't know New York weather. How often does it usually rain during this time of year? Is it usually like lots of rainy? Yeah. Verna is wondering if she kept the hide. Are you talking about the alligator? And my mom's here. Hi. You make shoes and belts with alligator. I'm talking about the meat. But hi. And PJ says gator bait's good. Soak in buttermilk first to tenderize. Okay. Frying, grilling, braising, or blackening. Is that like charcoal stuff, Steve? All the lakes and reservoirs are drying up. That is not good, PJ. Goodness. Right, you might be getting a lot of snow. Yeah, Steve says, PJ, you can make up for that drought next month with all the snow you're going to get. My goodness. Andy's here. Hello. What a blast from the past. We haven't seen you in a while, have we? Well, you're welcome anytime. Well, it's Thursday today, so Thursday. All right. Oh, we're supposed to be shushing because Andy's here. Hope you guys are doing good over there, and hope your bunnies and everything are doing good too. Andy, weren't you going to try a different plant this summer? I don't remember. I just remember that we had talked about you trying a different plant, a bean or something. Let me know how I don't remember the whole story, but if you remember what we're talking about, let us know. Okay, supposed to be all rain at my parents'. Okay. Good. Oh, got it. Andy says, so this is, my sweatshirt, a blast from the past blockbuster. Yeah, it's the last Blockbuster that's in Bend, Oregon. It's still there. They still rent videos, and they also do summer parties with, you know, movie showings. I just know about that. I've not experienced that, but I did experience, Blockbuster when it was actually a Blockbuster, before before they went down to one. Oh, the S word is what the shush is about. The it's a four-letter word. It's a four-letter word, PJ. uh yeah, the winter S. Be kind, rewind. Yep. Yep, yep. Andy says cherry trees this summer was my new. Yes, it's still a real one. Yeah, there's still a blockbuster. That's why it says the last Blockbuster, Bend, Oregon, and it's still active. It's still active. They still rent. I don't know if they still rent VHS. I think they do on some of them, but they have DVDs for rent now and merchandise, right? They have like sweatshirts and socks and all that. Yeah. Steve says Katrina said snow, so I figured it was a family friendly to use. Sorry. Oh my goodness! Only one of your cherry trees lived. Did it get planted in a wet spot? I'm curious, like, was it a disease thing or a, hey, I didn't water it thing or just in the wrong spot? I know in my old place, there's this one place I kept trying to try kiwis and it just never happened. It never happened. The male kiwi would always die, and there's no use for a female kiwi if you don't have the male kiwi. So that was like a location thing. PJ says, I hope all the trees are still doing well in South Carolina. Absolutely. Yeah, you had a little nursery started there. Yeah. Got it from the wrong nursery. Hmm. And he says, I believe it was overwatered because we had rain every day for months. Yeah. Yeah. I like to plant trees slightly above, like you can do a little mound above the ground. And that way they have like a snorkel. And so the surface roots of trees, they're very close to the surface. They're the ones that get like a lot of the nutrition and surface water from the rain. And then the deeper roots will get the water down in the ground and search out for water and stuff that is soaked in. Um, and so those surface roots are pretty important. And so if you are in a wet area or if you think it's going to be wet, or if it's clay, because clay holds water, then building it up just a little bit, just a little bit, a little mound, then that is a good idea. Yeah. Andy ordered another tree when they had it on sale at Stark Brothers. $18.99, still in a pot. Well, in the wintertime, put it in. Once it doesn't have any leaves, you're good to put it in. You can put it in now before winter, but it's best to transplant deciduous trees, which are trees that lose their leaves. It's best to transplant them when they don't have their leaves because they're sleeping, right? And then in the spring, they'll have to grow out the roots. And they take longer because they grow out the roots before they grow the top. So yeah. And he says, hubby planted them one day for me, so I'm not sure how he planted them. And the other thing to do to make sure too is to make sure that, if the roots are in a circle in there, to kind of unwind that and spread it out. That's also important, because if it's root bound, it will stay root bound, even if it's out of the pot. So like if it's in a circle and it'll continue to go that way until something releases it, right? So yeah. Yeah, all the trees that I got that I didn't plant appropriately in time, and then I planted some, and then I basically forgot about a lot of them. I think a lot of them aren't making it. The kiwis some of the kiwis, the bigger kiwis, are doing fine, except for the deer are eating through my little fence. The blueberries are doing fine, except for the fox ate the tops off of all of them that had all the blueberries. But they're doing fine. And then the actual trees, some of them are okay, and some of them, I think most of them might not make it. But I can still transplant them, and if they make it, they make it. If they don't, they don't. So I got overzealous and thought I was going to have a lot more done. Yeah. Oh, your Rainier didn't make it. Rainier is one of the ones that's great. The one you don't know what kind it was, Black Pearl Cherry lives. Interesting. I don't know that one. The one that I have not seen in stores and only seen at the California Rare Fruit Growers Scion Exchanges is one that's called Black Republican, and it is a cherry that's like that big, and it's very meaty, and it's really good flavor, and it's very meaty. Like it's not like it juices, but it's much more. I don't want to say solid, but less juicy. But anyway, but it's a really good one, and I really want one of those. Um, I'm actually thinking about. I need to look into when these things are happening. I'm actually thinking about going down. I shouldn't do it this year. I'll do it next year. Next year. My thing is, I buy plants before I'm actually ready because I'm ready, but my infrastructure is not. So okay, so next year I'll go down and go to some of the Scion exchanges. Maybe by then I'll have some trees planted that I can graft onto and stuff. So maybe that'll work. Blueberries, yes. Okay, Andy planted blueberries. Um, that might be what I was thinking about. I thought you were going to test a bean, do something with a bean, but maybe not. Um, you're able to get a Bing cherry from Starks, and you'll find another Rainier. Yeah, Bing and Rainier are pretty standard. Stella is somewhat standard. Stella is self-fertile, so that's good. There are Bings that are self-fertile and Bings that are not. And yeah, just good to know that when you pick out your trees. Um, and actually, right now, October, if you are in the South Bay area, Morgan Hill, Johnston's, like Ace Hardware, but Johnston's Nursery has an ugly plant sale in October. I don't remember when, but they have one in October, and you can get last year's fruit trees that were bare root that got potted up, and they took care of them all year. You can get last year's fruit trees for very cheap. My Anna's apple was one of those, and it was I think like 1588, I think, and it was a year older than the bare root stuff, and they call it an ugly plant sale. So they're getting rid of all the plants. They're kind of clearing out the plants to making room. So that I know with that, and with other places, they likely are doing a similar thing. And you may just ask, say, hey, do these go on sale before you get the new stock in? Or if you're ready to get trees, talk to the nursery folks. That anyway, I don't usually say folks. Talk to them and say, when are your bare root trees coming in? Okay. Or, you may have a variety in mind, and you may ask them, hey, do you have this variety coming, or can you order it? Because that's going to be coming up here for bare root trees. Because they'll come in, usually, I'm not going to know for the whole country or outside the country, but they'll usually come in sometime in the winter, like January, I want to say. Sometimes it comes in before December, but I think the majority of bare roots start to come in to nurseries in January, and I don't really know that from here. I'd have to look and see when I did the video last year, and that's when they were there. But that is something to think about right now. And then also try and not buy things before you have a place to put it, unless you have plans and a way to keep track of them and keep them healthy until you have a spot. I went way overboard last year, and so I will not be buying any fruit trees this year because I know I'm not ready because of my spot's not ready. I have my apples. I have the cherry. I have well, there is one peach tree, but it didn't have anything. Of course, it didn't really get watered either. Um, that they planted uh very young. So yeah. Anyway, let's go up here. Let's see. Scrolling up. Okay, Verna says, want to know what I've observed about the cherry whatever fruit tree. What is a cherry whatever fruit tree? Sure, sure. I'm going to scroll down and get her answer first. After it flowers, until the fruits were harvested, the leaves turn a dark reddish. After they are harvested, they go back to green. Which species are you talking about? What variety are you talking about? It's a cherry, but not a cherry? And it changes while it fruits. Fern, are you making things up? I want to know what this thing is. Find out what the name is. Andy says, some of us don't do spring cleaning. We do spring plant. Yeah, spring plant shopping. That's what it is. And that's what I have a problem with is that I have not made my space yet. My hope is that soon I will do the garden and the chicken run fences. That has to be first. And I need to call some people for the food forest stuff, but I really feel like I just need to get that part of it done. Like do that first. Because if I do that first, I will have and I put in all the things I want to put in. Um this side of the garden is going to be reserved for nursery type things. So like growing trees from seeds, growing, different ones that go from cutting and stuff like that. I want a controlled area that's fenced that is closer to the house that I can do that with. That put either for my food forest or for potentially selling to other people. And so at that point, if I get that done, then I'll allow myself to buy some fruit trees and put them in a temporary bed on purpose with that intention. Not what I did last year. But yeah, for sure. Yeah, plant addicts. There you go. Oh, your Stella died. I'm sorry. PJ planted Barbados cherry. I've never had one of those, and I really want to. Yeah. Farmel's back. Farmel and Fords is back. Welcome, welcome. Good evening, they say. Andy says my patio bonfire peach trees tried. Wait, I'm gonna start over with that because my sentence didn't work. My patio bonfire peach trees made fruit. The grandkids picked them all off before they were ripe or after they were ripe. Oh, Farmel says, I assume the topic is fruit trees. It was when you came in. I don't know what it is now. As Steve says, the topic can change every 30 seconds. We talk about whatever comes up. I usually have a topic that I have, that I want to talk about at some point. Today, actually, we'll go wherever. I'm tired. and so we're just going to talk. And then if I do have a topic, if we run out of things to talk about, but I don't think we will. All right. Everybody's saying hi to Farmel. Andy says, I planted fig trees 2 this year. We have got to eat a few figs already. Awesome. Awesome. So fig trees are something that I really, really like. And I did not know until I was with the California Rare Fruit Growers how many varieties there are. So when I do make a run and do some of these scion exchanges, I will be getting a lot of fig scions. Fig and mulberries are things that you can start from cuttings. And so that is really exciting because you don't even need roots because it will make them for you. But I'm not doing that this year. I will do it once I have stuff set up to do that successfully because I tell you what, the first scion exchange I went to, and I will explain what scions are after this. First scion exchange I went to, I went with my neighbor and we both came back with a bunch of sticks and we're like, we're so excited. We're going to do all this. We're going to do all these, make all these trees and do all this. And we're like, but we have hardly any roots to put them on. So California Rare Fruit Growers is a really, really great organization. It's in California, Arizona, and I want to say Texas. And it is exactly what the name is. It's rare fruit growers, and rare fruit can be something like a rare variety of cherry or a rare variety of, nectarine or something like that, or it could be dragon fruit or, lychee. I just said that weird. What is it called? Um, you know, caramellas, the star fruits. It could be, sapotes and pineapples and what, it's all these things, different kinds of passion fruits. And people collect these things from all over, and then they end up sharing with people and trading and all that. And there's something that happens between January, and I think there's even one in early March. But the different chapters each have their own scion exchanges. And for many trees, many fruit trees, let's see, how do I want to say this? A scion is a cutting, it's a piece of wood. It's a piece of wood that you cut, and the ones that I'm talking about right now are collected in the winter. So when the leaves are off and people are pruning, usually those prunings either stay on the ground, get burned, uh, get chipped up, whatever. Instead of doing that, they say, okay, I'm going to take these, I'm going to cut them in lengths this big and put them in a bag, squirt a couple squirts of water, uh, shove it in the bottom of a refrigerator until the scion exchange. And scion exchange comes, and you have your bag labeled. You say, this is a desert gold nectarine, desert gold peach. And you say, here you go. And then they put it on the table. They have it in their order and all that. And if you're a member, then you get in, with your membership, basically free. It's included. If you're a member of the public and not a member of California Rare Fruit Growers, then it's usually like $5, or they may have upped it by now. It's usually just better just to sign up for California Rare Fruit Growers and say, okay, I'm going to pay, however much this is, and we'll go in. And then it's ridiculous because it's a free for all. Because once you're in, you can take whatever sticks you want. Now they do like you to take like one or two, not I want all of these. We want to be sane. And once we get closer to that, maybe I'll do a video on that. You don't have to go to a scion exchange to exchange scions. And what the point of this is you're not just like collecting you are collecting someone's spent trash, really. Except they probably would compost it or whatever. But what that allows you to do is, if you have a tree with the roots that are able to support that species or that variety, you can make a tree. You can make a whole tree. You can graft onto another tree, and all of that. So I have some videos on grafting. I like the simple stuff best. And what you do is you basically line up the cambium, which is the inner bark layer, which is like 2 cells thick, and which is, instead of lining up like this, you just line it up like that, and it, at some point, it's going to cross. And what that does, it allows you to, number one, grow a variety that you're maybe not going to find, in the nursery. Number two, grow a variety that is a cheap thing to get, because all you have to do is buy rootstock, or you maybe already have rootstock and you just have a free stick or a $5 bag of sticks. And then you have, if you have a tree that's very healthy but you hate the fruit of, you can cut that off and put one of these and put that there, and it becomes a new fruit variety. And so if you're looking for fruits, then that is a really good thing to think about now, so that if you go to these things, you can exchange. If not, people sell scions online, people do all sorts of stuff. You do have to watch out for some diseases, and some things really shouldn't cross, state lines and outside of different counties even. I know there was some plum varieties, or some plums, I think, that couldn't take, out of a county. But yeah, and then the same thing happens for greenwood scions, which is in the summertime. You do grafting for things like citrus and avocados and things that don't lose their leaves. But yeah, so that's something I really want to do. I have to see what I actually can do. But yeah, fig trees. I know I've seen some figs in town, so I know they grow here. And the variety, the amount of different kinds of figs that you can grow is tremendous. It's so tremendous. I mean, there's figs that are small. I've seen figs this big. There's different flavors, different colors, all of that. So yeah. Anyway, I went on a tangent right there. But fig trees and mulberry trees, those are things that can grow from cutting very easily. So yeah, definitely you can get more figs out of your fig tree. That's the other thing, is you can buy one of something. Elderberries too. You can buy one of something and then basically take cuttings of that thing that you have and make more trees. So anyway, let's see what else the people are saying. Desiree's here. She says, huh. I'm guessing it's hi. Hi. Verna says, they said cherry plum, but I found it was a cherry peach tree. Oh, that's right. A dwarf peach. Okay. I didn't know the leaves did that. Gage's Family Farm is here. Hey, friends. Hello. I don't know if this is Christina or Erin, but hello. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing good, and maybe you guys won't get snow this year. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Steve says it's Erin. Okay, we'll see. We'll see who answers. PJ says, I have 2 figs, cherry, pomegranate, blueberry, 2 Meyer lemon, Cavendish banana, 2 apple, and coffee bean plants. Will Cavendish fruit for you in South Carolina? I know where I was in Gilroy, someone used to live in Gilroy, California, that um grew bananas and had them fruit, but he had to do all sorts of things to get them to fruit, but he did. Because so Cavendish banana, for those who don't know, that's what's in the grocery store. And bananas are grown from a corm, so they're not grown. The seeds of a Cavendish are super super tiny. Those little tiny black things by the center, those are seeds. They're not really functional. A lot of bananas, like in nature, are actually have like seeds like that big. Um, but they grow from the corm. So like it's an herb. Number one, it's not a tree, it's an herb, but they grow from the ground. This stalk grows up, it has its bananas, and then it dies back. And as it's growing or as it's dying back, there's another thing coming up from the bottom. And then people cut off this one and then let that one grow, and then another one will start. And once this one's done fruiting, they cut off that one and then let this one grow, and it just continues. So Cavendish banana is what's currently in the grocery store, and it was not the original grocery store banana. And there are so many better bananas than Cavendish that taste so much better, but they don't have the shelf life. But yeah, so because of how they grow, if there's a variety of banana, it has exactly the same genetics. So it is the same plant. So if there is something that affects it disease-wise, it's going to affect all of it. So this is at least the second variety that has come into the supermarkets, because the first variety had a disease that made it not profitable anymore. So a little bit of history. You guys get randomness on here. You guys know that, right? All right. All right. Desiree candled her eggs yesterday. How'd that go? All right. Apparently it's Erin. Hi, Erin. You never know who you are on your channel. But I hope you're doing well. All right. Andy says, this spring I'm going to replace the cherry trees I wanted, but I will do a wood box planting them a little above ground this time. Yeah. Yeah. I think we talked about your yard being waterlogged, right? Was that you? I think that was you. Yeah. If you have water, if you have an area that holds water, if you have clay soils, it's really good idea to just do really, you can like dig into the ground a little bit, but make sure if you have clay, make sure that when you scoop the shovel and you scoop that's just like making a clay pot. You're making it hold water when you do that. So if after you've dug the hole, stab it with the shovel, and that will send fissures down into the clay, which will open up spaces in the clay for water to go. And so that's, I think, an important step that a lot of people miss with clay. And then I would say, go down like that far, and then build up. If you have your tree in a pot, get it out of the pot, make sure the roots are untangled, and set that in there. We use whatever you're making your mound of, mix that with native earth from that area, in that hole, but then build the mound around it. And that will keep it, the surface roots, so it's the snorkel roots, out of the water. And I mean, if you get root rot, you get root rot from the bottom, but it will make it survive longer in those situations. Yeah. Anyway, we can talk about that. If once you get to that point, we can talk about that. Oh, you don't think you're Barbo or Barbados? Cherry made it. Okay. They picked the peaches off before they were ripe. Oh my goodness. I bet you were not happy with that. I bet you were not happy with that, Andy. That's so sad. So sad. Bruce is here. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Bruce. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you. We are going on all sorts of topics. So whatever topic you would like to bring up, homesteading wise, wildlife wise, whatever, go for it. We're currently talking about trees. All right. Andy has 4 types of figs. Isn't that wonderful? I miss my figs. And the thing is, like, when I moved, my figs that I had growing from cutting, they were just getting to be above the garage, and I was like, they're gonna fruit like the next year probably, and now they're gone. But yeah, it does work. Ooh, anime. Here's egg song. Did a special breeding last night. What does this mean? What did you breed with what? Ooh, Bruce planted some blue elderberries from cuttings. Do you know what kind? Was it the native kind, or was it some varietal? Because that works tremendously well, and that's actually how the professionals do it. Is they just stick them in the ground, and there you go. Yeah. I wish you luck on that, because that's awesome. Elderberries. So we have the blue elderberry. That's right. You said you were in California. So the elderberry that you have there, if you took cuttings from a plant, I'm hoping that you knew that plant, because the elderberries, if it was a wild elderberry, they all taste different, and some of them are not great tasting, and some of them are, and that's in the genetics, because it's not a variety, it's nature. And so everyone is a little different. And how you get a variety is you say, oh, I like that one, let's take cuttings from you. And then that becomes, there's a mother tree, and that becomes a variety. So hopefully you know what it tastes like before you plant it. And if it's a blue elderberry, I'm guessing it's native. Our elderberries here have more of a crop timing than Europe. So the European elderberry is usually what's in things like, cough lozenges and, all the medicinal stuff that you see in the stores. It's usually that one. And I'm just going to speak to this quickly because it does matter. When you have the fruit of the elderberry, it does matter which variety or which type you have. The one that you have, Bruce, if you're talking about the native one, it does not have very much of the bad stuff in the seed. So people advise not to eat the seeds raw for any of them. Some of them you have to heat treat it, which just means cook it. And the ones in Europe, you definitely do. Some of the ones in the Eastern and Midwest, you definitely do. You're supposed to for the ones on the West Coast, but they have the least amount of that. So it doesn't take as much. So I just want people to be aware that there is a spectrum of what is in it. Somebody remind me because I don't, for some reason, it's not in my head. But when you heat treat it, it reduces. Basically, it's not gonna, don't eat the red elderberry, but it's not gonna like kill you to eat the kind that you can eat without heat treating, but it can make you very sick if it's the kind that has a lot of that substance. And I never had any issues with eating the raw one from the Bay Area, but just a little something to research. All right, let's see what else is going on. Vera says, "Oh, that's wonderful, Bruce. Awesome, awesome." Andy says, "My doctor told me today I should eat less beef and pork and eat more chicken and fish. I asked him where does quail and rabbit fall into that. He said, I have no idea. I've never been asked that before." So did he just assume you were eating lots of beef and pork and not eating as much chicken? um, I would say quail is probably, this is not, I'm not a nutritionist. I would say quail is probably close to chicken with probably a little bit more fat, unless it's a homegrown chicken that's old. And I would say rabbit is healthier than chicken and has less fat. But you don't get the good things from the skin of the rabbit if you're skinning, because there's good things in the skin of the chicken, which is where the chicken soup remedy stuff comes from, is stuff in the chicken, but then also there's something in the skin. So that's an interesting thing that a bird, it's just interesting because neither one of them are anything like beef or pork. So, and also not fish. Oh, my dad says Remy loves bunny heads and legs. Thank you. So so you guys might have seen the bear video that went out last week, I think. My parents were here for that, and I sent them home some bunny heads and feet um, for their dog Remy, and she likes them. Yeah. Can I show the video that you sent me? I'm going to guess the answer is yes, but I will wait. I will wait. Yeah. I'm just going to show it. You're going to say yes. This is Remy and her rabbit head. Oh, that was it? Okay, here's the beginning of that. So my dad looked it up because he was concerned about, oh, what does that mean, giving her a rabbit head? The brain is really good for dogs. So there you go. Well, you can tell her you're welcome. What? I must be way behind, Steve, because I did not say that word in a while. Britta says I can't stop her. It's her channel. Oh my gosh. Oh, I did say that word. I did say that word. So Aaron says no more S word. Um, yeah, you guys, would you get last year like 10 inches? That's more than we got. Oh, Andy says always Aaron unless otherwise stated. Hello. Okay. Okay. It's just boring, Aaron. You're not boring. You're not boring. Oh, yes, yes. Important question. Steve is asking Aaron, do, do you have an indoor and outdoor snow shovel just in case? The indoor snow shovel is for quail poo. I'm stocked up on snow shovels for the season. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Verna remembers banana changes. Just in my lifetime too, Katrina, with the changes of bananas, I remember when my dad brought some home from the store with seeds. How big were the seeds? I know you can't show me, but how big were the seeds of the ones in the store? Because the ones now are just little specks. They're like little like almost grits of sand. Yeah. Um, Desiree says half the eggs I candled had to be tossed, sadly. Some of the eggs that are developing aren't going to make it, but I'm still letting them stay in. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of like that hope. You got to have hope and maybe it'll make it. Yeah. Andy says, doctor said, sounds like you raise quail then. He said, if you eat the eggs, watch them out because eggs have cholesterol. Eggs have cholesterol, but cholesterol from eggs is not the whole picture of cholesterol. Again, I'm not a nutritionist. Our bodies make cholesterol as well. So there's the cholesterol you eat, and then there's the cholesterol your body makes, and you guys can do the research. And but it's not just how many eggs you eat; it's how your body deals with different things. You can eat no eggs and have higher cholesterol because of your body. Ooh, Aaron says shipping has been rough on eggs this year. Um, in general, in general, yeah. I uh, I don't know. I mean, we have the state of Oregon, and this is just the post office. I know you can. I don't know what all you ship by, but the post office, everything in Oregon goes through Portland. We used to have multiple mail centers. If I mail something to the town next door, it goes to Portland first, which doesn't make any sense at all because I'm nowhere near Portland. So yeah, that's it, it delays thing. It took 7 days for a check to go 1 hour of driving away that I sent here. They're like, "Did you send it?" I'm like, "I sent it. I sent it on this day." Okay. And then it showed up and they called me like it just showed up. I'm like, wow. Yeah. Yep. Um yeah, Verna says, Andy sounds like your doctor is still going on the old studies. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or thinking about chickens. Well, I mean, quail eggs per volume have more cholesterol than chicken eggs, is what I have read. If someone has read something different, please educate me nicely. Um, but what I'm saying is it's not just that it's that your body also makes cholesterol and then also how your body processes the cholesterol that's coming in and the cholesterol that your body's making. So I don't know. I think eggs are a net positive. I mean, positive, like good thing um, for me. I mean, if that's all you're eating, maybe you'll have a problem, but you know. Aaron says, sounds like you need a new doctor, Andy. Yeah, and that's exactly it. So Verna said exactly what I just said about your body making cholesterol. I'm not saying that I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not saying that one versus the other is better or worse. I'm just saying that the whole picture isn't being talked about. Yeah. Um, Desiree said I paired my dark gray male with my white female. It'll be interesting to see what they have. That's good. Okay, Bruce says they are native elderberries, growing them for the birds. Okay. also have currants, but I'm going to remove them as they get way too large. So Bruce, I used to have a golden currant, which is a native to California currant. I don't know where it's native to. I've never seen it in nature. But the fruit was really not great until I just left it on the plant and it became raisins, and then they were really good. So you might try, yeah, if you think you like them, or if you think you're gonna like them and then you don't, you might try making raisins from them. Letting them sit there or dehydrating them, because that concentrates the sugars and takes away the bitterness, because some of them can be bitter. Um, but yeah, they do get pretty big. I used to have one in my quail aviary, but I think it just got over nutrified. The quail loved it though. They would jump up and get the leaves, and there's a browse line. You see them do these little hops. It's really funny. Oh, and he says he's new to me, doctor. There you go. Okay, Verna's talking about the elderberry naturally occurring toxins called cyanogenetic glycosides and lectins. There is a specific thing that needs heat treatment though, that I think is a different name than that. But yeah, it has the ones where Bruce is growing. It's not gonna like affect him to eat a few. Um, but yeah, other ones, especially in Europe, um, different areas of the world have different toxicities of that, and you have to heat treat them. So yeah. Um, Desiree says quail and rabbit would fit under chicken. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think in the realm of chicken at least. Like quail, I think of as like they're a dark meat, so they're more. I think they'd be in between like quail and turkey leg. I mean, they'll be in between chicken and turkey leg, and then rabbit would be on the other side of that, but I don't know what would be between. Like I think it's on the other side of the chicken from the quail as far as fat content. Um, but rabbit has some really good nutritional stuff as well. And I looked it up at one point and I don't remember all the things. But yeah. Yeah, got good blood levels. That's good. Yeah. All right. Desiree says should make sure you watch how much. Yeah, so that's a good point, Desiree. So she's saying watch how much salt you eat, and there's some things that I didn't learn in school, and I think we should be taught this in school. Is the nutritional stuff and what interacts with what, and they have um, for example, I did not know until I gave blood that iron and calcium had a relationship, or that iron and vitamin C had a relationship. And they totally do. If you eat iron with vitamin C, your body will take up more iron. However, if you eat iron with calcium, then the calcium will bind with the iron and take it away from you as a usable thing. So when you eat certain things is important, especially if you're anemic or having other issues. And there's interactions like that throughout the nutritional spectrum that I am still unaware of. But how things interact, um, I think that's something that should be taught in schools, personally. All right. Okay, so banana seeds, Brenna says, was about the size of BBs. That's smaller than the natural ones I've seen in Mexico, but it's pretty big. It's big enough to crunch on. All right, Breeze's parents live in Salem. One year they sent a Christmas card and didn't arrive until Valentine's Day. That is surprising. So the Portland mail stuff just happened this year. Because we lost Medford was the local local, the regional thing that my mail used to go through, but now everything goes through Portland. And he says our mail goes 2 hours away to be sorted by a machine. No, people can't read anymore, and it's faster, cheaper, right? Mostly cheaper. Desiree says currently building the free rabbit cage I got, so I know which size I have to find a replacement. I don't know what a coroplast base is. So if you're doing wire for rabbits, I would do 1 inch by 1/2 inch. That's big enough for the poo to go through. When you're not doing rabbits, I just realized that you're doing quail in your rabbit cage, aren't you? I think that's what you're doing. One inch by 1/2 inch is still good, and if you can do the coated wire, then that's best. If not, then make sure that it is smooth. So if you run your hand over it, does it catch on your hand at all? If it does, sand it until it doesn't catch, because that will cause bumblefoot. All right, Andy says, being I haven't been to a doctor in about 10 years, good about the results. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Salt is hard in the kidneys. Yep. Oh, kidney stones. I've not had them, and I don't want them. So knock on some wood. Desiree says, I'm so glad I bought a rubber mallet during QuailCon. It comes in handy. Rubber mallets are handy. That is true. That is true. Oh, Verna says, my sister gets kidney stones. I get gout. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, so Desiree will be getting a rabbit as a gift for your mother-in-law, but we'll be putting birds in here temporarily. Okay. Yeah, so rabbits and birds I'm caught up. I know, I was surprised. Rabbits and birds are so even though you can use a rabbit hutch for quail, you want to make sure, you want to at least know that they can break their neck if it's as high as a rabbit cage usually is. So, not saying it will happen, but if you go out there and all of a sudden you see one having neurological issues or having, other, if it's no longer with us, that could be what happened. One way to adjust that is to get some aviary netting and make sure that the holes aren't big enough that the head goes through, because otherwise you want to come back and have a, suspended quail. But that will they'll be able to bounce off it, and you can suspend that and just like put zip ties about a foot up, or even just like that far below the top. Rabbits, on the other hand, need at least 2 feet. I have them taller than that, but they need to be able to stretch up. Yeah. Andy says, I would rather give birth to triplets than have another kidney stone. Andy, I worked with someone when I was in Illinois. We were doing moist soil seed samples in the dissecting scope. There were some samples, and we would sort through them and see what was in there. And one of the guys was gone for a long time, and he came back. He'd gone to the bathroom. He was gone for a long time. He came back, and he had passed a kidney stone at work. And he brought his kidney stone back to the lab so we could look at it under the dissecting scope. Man, that's a pokey thing. It's just like a porcupine. So yeah, yeah. He was an odd duck. Good guy, odd duck. Sorry if you're listening. Desiree says it's a guinea pig, probably. Not a guinea dag. Cage, which is almost $300. Oh my gosh. Oh, it is a brand of guinea cage. It's really called a guinea dad, huh? Okay. Okay. New to me. New to me. Yeah. Huh. Did not know guinea dad was a name. It must have been a dad that decided, you know what, I'm making my own stuff. Yeah. So, so yeah, we have rain this weekend. I was going to potentially do some outdoor stuff, and I'm thinking I probably won't. I've already fed the bunnies for the evening. I will be breeding them maybe next week after it stops raining, or maybe if it's in the weekend. If there's a period of time where it's not raining, I'll breed two of them. So I will breed ravioli and rigatoni will be first. Um, and then a couple weeks later, I'll breed the other ones. A couple weeks, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Is a couple. I can wait a little bit. I have a lot of rabbit in the freezer, but you do need to keep your rabbits breeding. Um, I would have bred them earlier than now, except that I have a lot of rabbit in the freezer. But uh, I can smell Percy and he's ready. So Percy is my buck rabbit. Persimmon is his full name, as you guys voted, and I can smell that he's musking. He's ready for his baby making days. So he's been like that for a few weeks now. Um, so if you're not sure if your animals are ready, so rabbits, the male rabbits will go temporarily sterile in hot temperatures. What hot means is going to be based on the variety and the individual and all of that, but 85 degrees is what I've heard. Um, and so you can breed them and they'll do the deed and nothing will happen. But if you wait long enough, he's musking, so he's ready. Uh, so yeah, I'll do that probably this weekend. I was also waiting because I'm going to go to the state bee conference. I did not want babies to be happening while I was gone because people that are going to be feeding them, I just want them to be able to just feed them and that's it. I don't want to have them, freak out if there's a surprise on the wire that they have to deal with. So yeah. Um, yeah. So I'll be doing that soon. And then that's something to think about too. So those of you that are newer to rabbits or haven't done one in a while, um, rabbits have a gestation of about 30 days. So 30, 31, 32, that's about what you can expect. And you do have to plan on these things, right? So there's certain time periods from the date of breeding that you should pay attention to. So the date the date of breeding is day 0. The day after that's day 1, then day 2, all that. So you do breeding day, and then on day 26 or 27, that's when 27 usually is when I put in the nesting box. Some people will just offer hay a couple times a day until she takes it and starts having that nesting behavior. Which she'll carry it around. She'll shove as much as she can in her mouth and she'll start carrying around looking for a place. But I feel that you can miss that pretty quickly. I've had um I've had rabbits that don't have any interest in the nesting box until poof, it's time to have babies. Okay, let's hurry up and pull some fur and shove it in there and make and then I've had ones that go in there and do that right now as soon as she sees it, and then she doesn't have them for a while. So I think it would be for me. It's too easy to miss that window, and I would feel really bad if she had babies and then I didn't have the nesting box in there. So um, so that's when I offer is day 27, and so that you really want to be around. They don't generally need help, but like if they have one on the wire, you can put it into the nest box, and otherwise, because they don't actually pick up their young. So if you don't do that, then they will actually not make it. So That's one thing. And then when they get about 10 days old is when they start opening their eyes. So 10 to 14 days is when they start opening their eyes. So that's when they're going to start exploring. So that's when you want to be making sure that you check them in the evening, make sure you plop them back in. I put a brick at the front so that they can climb in if they can't quite make that jump. So I'll actually take them and I'll put them on the brick and I'll kind of move them up so that they can figure out how to get in, so that next time they go out, they know how to get back in. Some people at that point will just turn the nest boxes on their side so that they can very easily go in and out. Risk in that is if one goes to the corner or something and doesn't know how to get back, but there's lots of different ways you can do. And then um and then if you have like your weaning date, so I wean them when they're 5 weeks old. Some people do 6 weeks. Some people have them in with mom the whole time. Like you can do any of that. 4 weeks is a little too early, but people do it. You have some risk of some effects of them not having milk at that time. But and some people would say that about 5 weeks, but I do it at 5 weeks. So do you have a place for them to go? That's going to be very important. I have at least two other um tractors I need to build before week 5. So week 5 happens, but you have 4 weeks from breed time. So I have from breed date to 9 weeks out from breed date before they go into the tractors, the rabbit tractors. So you have to think in those terms, and then think about when you're going to harvest them. I harvest at 12 weeks. Some people do 8 weeks or 10 weeks. It's really between 10 and 12 weeks is typical. So are you going to be around? Do you mind feeding them a little extra or harvesting them a little bit earlier, depending on your schedule? And so that can be, you can calendarize it out, because that's a word now. But you have to think about these things. The most important thing I think about is, there's a couple, is one, am I going to be there when the birth happens? I'm not going to be on a trip or something. And then two, when you rebreed, I rebreed when the babies are 3 weeks old, which means they have to be out really when they're 5.5 weeks, so that mom can go through her changes and stuff and get ready for the next batch. But um, those are the two things. Like when are they born and when are they leaving? Those are the important things. So I probably this year, unless I get good like clients, people, I probably won't rebreed until like week 4. Just because I have a lot of rabbit in the freezer. So unless I get people buying them, which I haven't done flyers yet. Okay, enough about that. Okay. He wants dates now. Yes, Percy is ready. Percy's ready. All right, Desiree's doing her IKEA thing. It's not IKEA. Awesome. So, Desiree, I don't know if you're reading or not, but Verna sent you a link to help on Facebook. Okay, Guinea Dad Piggy Condo. Guinea pig with pillars. Oh my gosh, say that fast. One of the most expensive cages. All right. All right, so you got videos on it. Good. Good. Yeah, putting things together, and sometimes the instructions aren't what they should be. That can be frustrating. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Ooh, Desiree bought some black garlic today. I have not heard how the garlic festival went. In Gilroy, so I used to live in Gilroy, California, the garlic capital of the world. And they brought back the garlic festival this year, is what I heard. I heard it was going to happen, so I think it probably did happen. And I probably need to ask my old neighbors, how it went. Because, yeah, I was there in 2019 when stuff happened there, and they stopped having it. So it's good to see it's back. I think the community needed it to be back. Verna says, oh, Lucy needs out. All right. So anyway, Miss Desiree, what are you going to use your black garlic for? Do you have something special for it, or is it just cool that you have it and you're going to experiment with it? Because I've never used it. Bruce, the Garlic Festival hasn't been back for a couple years in Gilroy. Sacramento? No. Somewhere else tried to take it over as their own thing. And I don't know how successful it was or not, but in Gilroy, they tried to do Garlic Festival that was like, hey, we're going to do a concert this day and a spaghetti feed this day and this over here and this over here, but not as a big dynamic thing. I moved last year, so I know it didn't happen last July, or any time between then. But they had like a golf tournament, and it really is not. It was not the same as at the park. You have 3 stages going. You have cooking shows. You have, you know, learning all about garlic braiding contest, and a whole bunch of that kind of stuff. So they had events connected to the garlic festival people, but they didn't have that. Yeah. It's not the same as before. Did you go this year? Yeah, it's yeah, I was there in 2019. And yeah, it's a great community event. It's completely fundraiser. The people who work there are all volunteers, and they what they do is they get paid, but they don't get paid. They get paid in a contribution to whatever charity they want. So it can be a local charity, it can be a national charity, it can be whatever they want. And so their efforts get paid in a donation from the Garlic Festival to whatever that is, that they are donating to. So yeah. You missed garlic ice cream. It is surprisingly good, isn't it? It is surprisingly good. Yeah, you're 3 hours north of there. Yep. But Bruce, you are, to my recollection, when we were talked on, or when we on the comments and stuff, you're near the Santa Rosa or the Golden Gate chapter of the California Rare Fruit Growers. So if you're interested in that, definitely sign up for both of them. If I were to only sign up for one of them and you're okay with driving to Santa Rosa, I would sign up for the Santa Rosa one. Golden Gate is like San Francisco area. I was a part of or I still am, I think, a part of, I think, 4 of them. The Monterey one's really good. But yeah, I would say the Monterey one and which actually meets in Santa Cruz area, and the Santa Rosa in that region are oh, there you go, 9 miles of Santa Rosa. Yeah, sign up for Rare Fruit Growers, California Rare Fruit Growers. They have meetings and stuff and events, and they have tastings. Ooh, actually, there's an apple tasting. I should have retained the date in my head for you guys. Different chapters have tastings for different things, and the Monterey chapter usually does the apple tasting. I thought it was somewhere else now this time, though. They may have multiple ones. They'd be doing multiple ones, but there was, I think the last time I helped out with that, it was like 77 different varieties of apple, which is pretty good. So I don't know if that already happened or if it is going to happen, but yeah, definitely check that out if you're interested in growing fruit of any kind. Things like longevity spinach and stuff like that too. People grow, in that group. So yeah. So yeah, I haven't talked to anybody who went to the Garlic Festival this year yet, but I hope it is I hope it had a similar feel to what it has historically, because that's what the community needs. Yeah. So anyway, okay. Desiree got black garlic as an impulse buy. Well, there are a lot of recipes for it. I've never cooked with it. Has anybody cooked with black garlic who's on here? PJ, are you still awake? PJ usually falls asleep in these things. Um, yeah, black garlic is a fermented garlic, if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, but it is, it's not necessarily like a type of garlic. It is garlic that has been in there. Yeah. Bruce, last year, so in 2019, they did. That's when I was there. Um, and I don't know where that one would have been. That wasn't in Gilroy, was it? Because I know there was a group out of, I want to say it was Sacramento, but I think I'm wrong. I think it's another S town that was trying to do it. Um, yeah, people need to stop doing that for sure. It's it would be nice to have everybody be able to go to an event without thinking about that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, but it was the Gilroy group. That is sad. I did not hear about that, and I was in town at that point. So interesting. All right. Desiree has an update on B, which is her quail. You think it's a female? At least I got one female out of the new chicks I've hatched. But yeah, black garlic does have a strong smell. I've never used it though. I think it's fermented. I need to. Okay, black garlic is a fresh garlic that has undergone natural aging process at warm temperatures, resulting in a soft, sweet, and umami-rich product with a flavor profile distinct from regular garlic. It is high in antioxidants and offers a unique savory taste that can be used in a variety of dishes. Blah 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 blah. You can make black garlic at home by placing whole, unpeeled garlic bulbs in a slow cooker or rice cooker on the warm setting for several weeks until the garlic cloves turn soft and black. Now, warning, that's from the AI overview, and AI overview is not always right, but yeah, it's aged. Um, now, oh, I was going to do a video on that. I forgot. I'm going to do a video on how to roast garlic. Because roasted garlic is definitely a different flavor than raw garlic, or even cooked regular garlic. But when you roast it, it's very good. And I got a roaster thing to go in the oven for $2 at a garage sale. So I won. Welcome back, Verna and Lucy. There you go. Okay, so Desiree says B was a crowing female, but has since stopped maturing. I miss it though. It was so cute how she would sing for me. So I experienced this with one of my quail, only one of my quail, and I totally thought she was a boy. Didn't even sex her because she was crowing. But she was with 3 other boys. It was eggs that I got from someone that didn't really understand the importance of age of age or uncrackedness of eggs. I wanted on a YouTube thing, and this individual did not really understand. Yeah. Anyway, I got 5 out of 30 to hatch, and one of them died immediately, and that's just not how it's supposed to go. I did have to go in and rescue the whole hatch from like 2 or 3 that were going to explode. You don't want an egg to explode, and that usually means there's a crack in it. But anyway, but so it was her, and then all of her hatchmates were male, And so I think that's what we do. Oh, you're crowing? I'm going to learn how to do that too. Maybe she was incognito because the two of the boys beat up the other boy and like through the skull. Like I had to put him down. And they were quite aggressive with the females when I did put them out. And I just decided, nope, we're going to have you for dinner because you are way too aggressive. And I think that must have been a genetic thing because they were doing stuff at a super young age. So, yeah. But she did crow, and she is the one that became Nana. And I brought into the brooder to calm the babies, and she was a great mama. She loved it. I brought her in because she had gone broody for several, like 8 or 9 times. She went broody, and she never had babies. She got off the nest too much, but she really, really wanted to have babies. And so I brought her inside, and so like I would get one egg a day from the brooder. Yeah. It's fun. It's fun. But yeah, she didn't crow once those boys went away, for sure. Yeah. Desiree says my white female loves chicks. Yeah, and that's something you can do is you can if she likes chicks, you can put her in the brooder and man, those are going to be the quietest babies you'll have. You caught her trying to feed one once? That's awesome. That's awesome. My original male, so I started with we're talking Katrina's quail, which is a Japanese quail. I started with one male and 5 females, and one of the females was the male's favorite. He had a favorite. He bred with all of them, but she was definitely his favorite. And she had, poor thing, she looked so ragged. She didn't have any feathers on her back because she was so well loved. But it wasn't just that part that was his love. It was if he found so sometimes in the crumble they'll find like a whole pellet. Um, Whenever he found one of those, he would hold it and hold his head really low and go "Choo, choo, 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 choo," and call her over, and he would give her this gift. And so he was quite the gentleman. He would give her gifts of bugs and all this other stuff. And every time he'd hold it in his mouth and put his head down and just do these little tiny whisper like chirpies. And it was always her that he gave it to. The other ladies were secondary, right? It was very, very cool. And yeah, so that was cool. They do some fun activities that you see when you're up close. So like you guys have them in the house right now, I think still. But if you have an aviary, they're up close and personal. Yeah, pretty dang cool. Pretty cool. I miss their sound of the choop 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 and the female songs and the egg song. I do miss that sound. Yeah. Desiree said, I have one female, the most fancy Tibetan that has eyebrows, and she's super bald. Yeah, and so when the males breed, they grab onto the feathers of the back of the head and they're on top of them, and so if they're popular, sometimes they have a little bit of bald up here and a little bit bald on their back. Yeah, the male loves her too much. And I would say that there's a difference between overbreeding and favoritism. And it may look the same physically, but overbreeding typically happens when you have too few females. So Coturnix quail is a 1-to-5 ratio. It could be 1-to-4 or 1-to-6, depending on how vigorous the guy is. And that's really how many he needs in order to not make them all bald, right? If you have a 1-to-1, that the poor little girl, she's going to be bred so many times that her feathers are going to be missing and all of that. Now with a favorite, the same thing happens, and you may argue that she herself is overbred, but they he bred all the other ladies, did not affect the hatch rate at all, and because he did all the other ladies too, and then he just was more with her, and you may consider that overbreeding, but it really was favoritism. It really was, that was his favorite lady, and I think he had more of a relationship with her than he did with the other ladies. Like I said, he would call her over for treats and give her gifts and things, and so that was really interesting to watch. And he's the only male, I think, that I've had that has done that, to that extent. Like, not just the favoritism, but the gift giving, which is pretty cool to see. It's pretty cool because usually when the other females, I don't think I ever saw that with the females having a whole pellet with that batch, but when I had later ones, if a female got a whole pellet, she would run away, kind of like how chickens run away with big grasshopper and becomes a football. Yeah, that's what they do. So, but he definitely had a favorite. She's the only female with the bald spot. Yeah, so she might be a favorite, and he's yeah. So the other thing that can happen if there's like bald spots on the head, but it's not like back here, it's like something around the eye or something, the other females can actually go after an individual, male or female. And I mean, they can peck eyes out, they can, rip out a bunch of feathers, they can be quite nasty. So that is something that could be, but if it's on the back, it's probably going to be the male. Yeah. So anyway, we've run the gambit, huh? I don't know if we still have Farmel in here, but we've moved on from trees. Oh man. Well, get your questions in, get your topics of discussion in. We got about 15 more minutes, and yeah, it's been a good conversation. Good conversation. Definitely start looking in your stores for plants that are a good either plants that were there all year from last year's bare roots, or see if your local nursery has something akin to an ugly plant sale. They could call it something else, or fall special or something like that. But often October is when they kind of clear out inventory because they know stuff is coming, especially with the bare roots, because bare roots, they have to make a lot of room for that. Yeah. Desiree says, still trying to find a mean female. I think I found who it was, but not 100% sure. Yeah, that's a sit and watch. That's a sit and watch. And I think watching your animals, watching your birds is a really good idea, because you will know who's in charge. You will know all of that. Like the one that crowed and became a Nana, she was the smallest one in there, but she had their attention. She was top dog and never had to fight for room to, squeeze into food. If she came towards the feeder, they would all like, okay, go ahead, and all that. So that's there is a pecking order, and they have to figure it out sometimes. I mean, it's called pecking order because they peck, and sometimes that's not pretty, but they will figure it out, and every once in a while they get challenged or whatever. But yeah, that lady, she did really, really great. And she didn't have to assert her dominance over anybody. She never argued with anybody because everybody knew, yes, ma'am, you're in charge. Yeah. Rena says, unless they are white and you find the one with her mouth or face covered with blood. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, that has a little extra color evidence. Yeah. Oh, Desiree lost her original female and have 3 hurt birds. So whoever it is will have to either be in the freezer or separated. Well, it's not any of the hurt birds, probably. So I don't know how many more you have, but yeah. Yeah, definitely figure out who it is. Sit there and watch them, figure out who it is, and yeah. Anime, without knowing our conversation, your comment is very weird. It's not necessarily a problem. It's just a problem that you can't figure it out. Yeah. Um Andy says just don't look right after you feed them watermelon. My goodness. My goodness. So when I moved here, I took the rabbits and the chickens to the vet, and one of the things that was happening at my place at that point was the plums were ready, and I had given the chickens, some plums. I threw them in there for them and all that. And I did not realize this until after I got back from the vet. But on one of the containers, I had put it down in the chicken area, and I opened it, and then it wasn't the chicken. I gave them to the quail too. That's what it was. It wasn't the chicken, and then the rabbits were above. So it was one of the rabbits, but I had put the carrier on the floor basically, where the chickens are, and so I had the rabbits in their carriers, took them to the vet, all that, and we opened it up. On the edge of like one of the like holes, it looked like blood. And we all thought it was blood. They searched them, there wasn't any blood. Okay, what's going on? And it wasn't blood, it was plum. But I didn't figure that out until after, because you're not going to taste it, right? Yeah. Verna says, that is in reference to the fact I gave the quail watermelon, and a few hours later, I walked into the quail room, and I about freaked until I remembered I had given them watermelon. Yes, yes, this can be a thing. This can be a thing. So now is also the time to start asking your neighbors, "Hey, are you doing anything with your jack-o'-lantern after Halloween?" And if not, start saying, "Okay, after Halloween, I can come pick it up." And your birds are gonna love it. Um, I don't know about rabbits. I'm sure they would eat some of it, but I don't know how much I would give it to them. But the birds for sure, they love it. Jack-o'-lanterns, and then if people have whole pumpkins that they don't want after the holidays are over, like they might keep it through Thanksgiving and then whatever, because they'll keep for a year sometimes, or at least several months, and then you can give your animals pumpkins. So that's something to start looking at, for people that you know, or like putting out a word for. And it's entertainment, it's enrichment, and gives them some nutrition, and it saves on your bills, right? Yeah. So that's something to think about. Desiree says, what's scary is my quail are currently shedding their intestinal lining. I don't know what that means. What are you finding in the cages, in the hutches? Because I don't know what that actually means, what you're finding. Because I've not found anything other than eggs, except for when one of my girls prolapsed, and I mean, it comes out, but then it doesn't come like out and left. So, yeah, let's have more information on that, Desiree. Fond memories. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I have had a quail break its beak, so it bled, and when they shake, get blood going everywhere. But that's something that it was really freaky, because I'm like, what's happening? I still don't know how it happened. But the beaks do grow back. So that's the good thing to know, is that the beaks will grow back. Just make sure they're able to eat and drink, and they will grow back. Bruce says, I cut a hole in front of the pumpkins out of the garden, and my chickens love them. They ended up with pumpkin guts all over the faces. So I have a video. Pumpkin. Here it is. Can chickens carve pumpkins? And the answer is yes. And it's really entertaining. So there's a link to that for, I don't know when I did that. When did I do that? I did it, I don't know where the date is on this thing. I don't know, it came up. I did it a while ago. I lost you guys. Hang on, come back. There we go. Yeah, they're funny. They're funny when it comes to that. But yeah, if you collect like whole pumpkins, they can last almost a year. Yeah. Bruce says, thank you. Can't wait to watch. It's really funny. It's really funny. And it's more entertaining when it's your own birds, I'm sure. But yeah, it's special. Desiree says poop tray looks like worms, but it's just shedding of intestines to keep parasites out and clean them. Kind of like a purge, but still getting eggs every day. I know nothing about that anime. Was it last year, Verna? Okay. I couldn't remember if it was last year or the year before that video was. And how I got to it, it didn't really, I would have had to search for the date. So anime, how do you know it's the intestines and not worms? I'm just curious because I've never seen that. Oh, it says 1 year ago. That makes sense. Yeah. The way I opened it was not the way you guys opened it. Yeah. Yeah, we have, so that happened, the pumpkin thing, that happened. I had been seeing some videos on it. I'm like, oh, that'd be fun to do. Let's see how it goes. But then also my work had like a pumpkin carving contest, and then one of the things was most creative. And I'm like, well, if this doesn't win, I don't know what will. But yeah, none of my stuff has gotten appreciation. I really thought pumpkin carving with chickens would be creative, but I don't think people appreciated the creativity part. They just wanted to see the end result, and the end result doesn't look creative. But yeah, I don't know if we're doing it again this year. I mean, in the past they did like a gift card to Safeway or something, and I honestly I don't go to Safeway except for when I absolutely need an ingredient that I know is not going to be at the places I go. But yeah, and I didn't grow any pumpkins this year because I didn't really do much for summer garden at all. I started and then it immediately got hot and like burned everything. Okay. Desiree says they look like blood worms and not the white parasites. And also they aren't moving. Anybody who has quail, does that sound familiar to you? Because it does not sound familiar to me. You got one section of the cage done. Good. Yeah, I'm curious if anybody on here is familiar with what Desiree is saying, because I've never seen that. I know pumpkin seeds are a remedy for worms. It treats worms. So you may consider getting some pumpkin seeds and cutting them up in case of that. But yeah, Verna says never heard of such a thing personally. Yeah. That's why I'm asking all these questions, Desiree, because I'm not familiar with it, which doesn't mean that it doesn't, I mean, it just means I'm not familiar with it. But if other people can have some input to what that might be or something that would be helpful. I've heard of lash eggs. I've never personally seen them with my birds, but that's the only thing I can think of that might be close to it, but it doesn't sound like what you're describing. Yeah. What about Steve? I don't know. Use white pads for your cage so it's a lot more noticeable. Yeah, Andy doesn't know either. Interesting. If it was me and I started seeing that, I would look under a scope. I mean, I don't know where it is. I have a hand scope, but just to see what exactly it is, because I don't know. Verna says, I have seen lash eggs when I have processed the extra hens. They are weird and stinky. I've never seen them. I mean, I've seen pictures of them, but I've never experienced that in person. Yeah. Interesting. If it was me, I would number one try and look at it under a scope or find someone that can. And then number two, I would start feeding some pumpkin seeds. Now, pumpkin seeds and quail, yes, they can eat them, but maybe just cut them in a couple pieces for them. And they will eat them. They're nice and tasty. Um, in case it's worms, because that's a worm treatment. I don't know how well it does. I just know I've heard of that. Okay, Desiree says chickens also shed their intestinal lining. Well, I do raise on deep litter, and so there may be things that I've missed, but I've also not seen that kind of thing. Oh, Smilo is actually laying eggs every couple of days now, sometimes in a row. So I don't know why she waited till fall, but I'll take it. And Overraptor is still freeloading, which they're getting to be old, so I'm not expecting much. Yeah. Um, Rare says, never heard of such. Might be something in your area. Yeah, I don't know. Oh my goodness, Lucy's 14. My goodness, she's a nice old lady. Goodness. Desiree's gonna have eggs in the spring. That's exciting. Um, yeah, I was hoping to hatch out late summer so that in I could have eggs through the winter, but that's okay. I do have some freeze dried eggs, and one chicken that is laying sometimes. I don't know how long she'll lay if she's gonna quit after it gets cold, but there was an egg this morning, or not this morning. Yeah, I guess it was later in the morning. No, it was in the afternoon that I saw it. My chickens don't lay with the sun. They lay like late morning usually. And then for those that don't know, quail lay in the afternoon or evening. Yeah. So yeah, I'll get there eventually. And I really feel like infrastructure is something that's taking longer than I wanted. The French drain is likely going in next week. This week, there's some organizational things, and it started raining, and so and tomorrow it's supposed to rain 65 or 62% or something like that. So it got kicked back to next week after the rain. Wish us luck. All right, guys. Well, we have hit after 8 o'clock, so hopefully we got all our talking in. Oh, Verna says, give yourself a break. You have done in 1 year what many take longer to do. That is true. That is true. I just wish it was visible outside the house. No, it's good. It's good. Okay. Desiree says intestinal shedding is very normal unless it's a lot, an extensive amount, then it might be a problem. It's like how molting is a normal thing. Okay. Well, I wish your birdies good health and that they continue to be in good health. Keep us posted on how long that takes. Yeah. Andy says Jeff looked it up and it's a thing that happens and is okay. Like I said, I grow my animals on deep bedding, and so if anything comes out, it's probably scratched in. It could be scratched in before I notice. Um, yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna call it a night and say good night. Next week, well, we'll have the Monday Night Live next week. And then next week's videos after that is both going to be about camera trapping. And then that following Monday, we can talk about camera trapping if you guys want. And then I'll have a couple more videos about camera trapping, but I'll probably skip that week of camera trapping and do something more homesteady. And then do the next week of camera trap stuff. Maybe we'll see. We'll see. But that is next week. That's what I'm going to be doing is an intro and then a kind of how to set up, how to program the cameras. So if you have a camera trap that you, or a wildlife camera, camera trap, automatic trail camera, whatever you want to call it, if you have one of those, you'll be able to get it out and kind of go through with me, even though they're not the same. They could be different brands or different things. You'll get to understand like what it means and what some of the options might be that I don't actually have on mine. And if you're interested in doing camera traps, I mean, you can get one, get one and go along with me, or once you see it, you can say, oh yeah, that sounds like a good one, or there's other ones. There's so many brands now that the one I have now is not a brand I had worked with before, and I actually like it. So I don't know how it does in heat and cold, like severe heat and severe cold yet, but I like the results so far. So that's a good thing. But yeah, that's what we're doing. Oh, Rena's going to be draining her fire cider next week. Awesome. 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 Um, I'm guessing you're going to do that during your live. I'm not making any more fire cider this year because I still have some from like 2 years ago. I should take it more than I do, but I don't. So yeah, we'll have to talk about, maybe we'll talk about how that went for you, even though I know you're going to say it on your live. But we can go over fire cider stuff and that if you want next week. You need to make your chili without someone stealing your hamburger meat. Uh-oh. There's a refrigerator thief, huh? All right, guys. I'm going to call it a night. Thank you for coming. We will see you on Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. And again, if you haven't signed up for the membership, go ahead and sign up. If not, then that's fine. But you're missing out. You're missing out. But our next Cook With Me Live for members is going to be on the 18th, which is a Saturday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. That is noon 30 Pacific time, and that is going to be a lot of fun. All right. Thank you, and good night. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend.